Hello there, this is Divine TV. My name is Kemi Iwalesi, your host on this amazing show, She World, where we discuss everything about the female gender, the good, the bad, the ugly, and the very beautiful. I have an amazing guest as usual on set today, Madam A, that's what I call her. But I'm going to introduce her to you just after this break. Stay with me. You're welcome back. Let me introduce my guest, or like I normally do, let my guest introduce herself to us.
Okay, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning to our viewers. My name is Nike Akande, and I'm the proprietor of La Maisonnette Bilingual School at Bagada.
La Maisonnette, French.
Absolutely.
I know you are doing wonderfully well as a woman in Nigeria in particular. What are the challenges that you think other women are going through in being able to position themselves as a human being that God created them? Because God created us as a human being first before we know whether we're a woman or a man.
Absolutely.
So what are the challenges you think we are facing as women?
Okay, so pretty much, as women, as a woman, maybe I should personalize it and later on generalize it. And considering the kind of setting we find ourselves, there's this gender bias already, where it is believed that a woman's niche and her core purpose or core value on earth should be service to her husband and her children, pretty much the family. So you see a situation where it's kind of difficult for some women, in fact, majority of women, to launch out. They have dreams, they have aspirations. You know, as young ladies, as children, you hear them say all sorts. When I grow up, I want to be this, I want to be that. Even when, in actual fact, they might not become what they've planned or what they've said they will be. But along the line, they've experienced some sort of barriers. And eventually, if they launch out and they get the job, their experiences, issues, challenges at work also, where they've positioned them in such a way that you cannot grow beyond this level. You cannot go beyond this level. And somehow it affects, there's a mind shift, there's a mindset shift. They just believe, okay, if I can at least attain this, let me just remain there. Because then taking it back to the home, taking it back to the family, if something goes wrong, the first accusing finger goes to the woman, because you did not do what you should do. And you would even hear other people. And the surprising part is most of this accusing finger that are pointed to the women comes from fellow women. It comes from fellow women. Now, why don't you just sit down at home and manage your children, monitor your children? They are your success. They are your future. So it's a big deal. So for someone like me, I did not start off doing my own thing. I started off working for people as an employee. I realized that nothing should in any way stand in my way. In fact, not like I had it all thought out in my head, but I felt marriage can stand as an impediment. So I gave myself I had like a map for myself that I was going to get my PhD before I get married. Now when I'm done with my PhD, then I will get married. But of course, things change, and well, I got a very good support system that I'm not going to stand in the way for your growth. I know this is who you are, this is what you want to do, but I'm not going to stand in the way. And so far, it's been good. So don't let me jump the gun yet. I don't know if you have.
Yes, one thing that we have forgotten a lot of times, we forget it, that when God created us, He created us as a full human being. And I normally say, you are not an appendage of anybody. And when God created you, He created you for a purpose. And a lot of times we jettison that purpose. And I love what you said, that you got married to somebody who was an enabler of your success.
Absolutely.
Who gave you an enabling environment to thrive. I know a lady recently, I don't know if she would like to her name to be mentioned, who is thriving very well in Nigeria. Her husband too was thriving very well. And she said if she didn't marry her husband, she's not sure she would have attained the height she has attained now. Because not only did he give her an enabling environment as saying, you know what, whatever you want to do, go out and succeed. He was an enabler of her success. By seeing what she was doing, by saying, oh, why don't you do it this way? You know, talk to some other people, introduce her to people, introduce her to ideas, and she's been able to succeed very well. A Nigerian man and a Nigerian woman, and they live in Nigeria. So there's not as if they are foreigners. Meanwhile, a lot more people are not ready to do anything. We have those ones that don't want to do anything. Those are the women, which I don't have any problem with. Whatever the challenges are, I believe they have a plan of how they are going to deal with it. But those ones that have their own aspirations, those ones that want to succeed, why would somebody come and marry a medical doctor and say you should not work? I don't understand it. Why should you go and meet somebody who was already on a very good career path, progressing, and you marry her and say she shouldn't work? And like you said, we have patriarchy. Is that what we call it? And the enablers of patriarchy in Africa, in Nigeria, are women. A lot of times when a woman is doing something and somebody is saying, don't do it, it's another woman that is saying, don't do it. It's not another man. Because I've seen men who just say, this is how we want it. And the women are the ones that make sure it works that way. One thing we need to know, there are three groups of people. There are groups of people who live in ignorance. So they don't know that it is necessary to allow their women to thrive, their wives to thrive. One group. There's another group who are abusers. And their reason for not wanting their women to thrive is because they want to abuse them. That's another group. Then there's another group that are just confused. It's not only ignorance now. They don't know, should I or should I not? So you see them say, oh, go. When somebody now says, why would you allow your wife not to do that? They'll bring her back. So we have those three groups of people. And women fall in the midst of all of this. When this is going on, we kill a lot of dreams. We kill a lot of things. And there's one prayer, I'm sorry I'm going to say this, stupid prayer. And I don't allow people to pray it for my child. Oh, when you grow up, you become a governor's wife. When you grow up, you become a minister's wife. When you grow up, you become a president's wife. I say, don't start that kind of prayer with my wife. Why must she be a wife? Why can't she be the governor? Why can't she be the president?
True.
Because we need to change the narratives.
Exactly.
And let our girls know they can become anything they want to become. We're going to another short break now. And we continue on this because I really love this topic we are dealing with. If you are just joining us after this short break, we are still on She World, where we discuss everything about the female gender. The good, the bad, the ugly, and the very beautiful. Today we are discussing about women and how they can be hampered from becoming the best version of themselves. And I have here with me Mrs Nike Akande. One thing I want us to discuss now is, I love the way you have set your boundaries before you got married. I want to get to this height. So it's easier for you to communicate it to your partner then. So you know, are we going on this journey together or let everybody go their own way. A lot of women don't have boundaries before they get married. They will want to set the boundaries after they have gotten married. and is a challenge. What do you think we should do?
Okay, so in this case, there's this thing right now. Feminism is not meant to be a negative word, but the way our culture has positioned it, in fact, they've looked for a more subtle word. They call it womanism. Like. But then again, you must understand before you get into a relationship, whatever relationship it is, especially now marriage in context, that maybe the male gender, the man might want to just put you in a box. You cannot go beyond this. It is important for you yourself to have dreams, because when you do not have dreams, anybody can come to say this is the way you go that way. So as a woman, as a young lady, as a lady of before you marriageable age or whatever it is, you must understand that this is what I want for myself. I understand there's the God factor, right? They say man proposes, God disposes. But propose first. Have an ambition first. So what is courtship about really? It's not just about the going on dates and all of those things. Talk about it. These are the things I want to do. If you are sensitive enough, you would know someone that will flow with you. Because you don't want to get yourself in a situation where you are now in the relationship, or you are married, or whatsoever, and they are saying, no, you cannot do this, you cannot do that. So it's important for you to have an ambition first. Have like a roadmap. Draw it out. Even the scripture talks about making the vision plain. Draw it out. Let there be an understanding. And it even goes beyond the marriage thing. Maybe the husband is trying to deter. At points where you want to get a job. We've seen some bosses. I have seen it. I've had opportunities to interview people. And I understand that you are a woman, because maybe it's coming from a place I'm also a woman. So, for instance, at our school, I'm still actively involved in hiring and in the recruitment process. It's right there on the offer letter. We make provision for 3 months provision for maternity leave. These are some challenges that women are facing, because some employers don't want to hire women, because next thing, they'll get pregnant. They'll go on maternity leave. They would tell me now that they are taking their child for their baby for vaccination and all sorts of things. So the pressure is a lot. The pressure is a lot. So as a woman, you must have a roadmap. You must have an ambition first. So whether the heat might come from the home front or the heat might come from a prospective employer, you know what it is you want. You know what you are looking for. You are looking for a place, even when you are working, organization where they have a strong support system for women. For instance, it's very unhygienic for a woman to go to the bathroom to express milk. Every organization should have like a space where you are supporting the women. They are having children, but they know that they are receiving some sort of support from work, from whom to their support and things like that generally.
Thank you. That was one thing Guarantee Trust Bank did years ago, and I will never forget it. They had a crèche within the building at the head office. So your children are there. If you want to express milk, you can go there. If you want to go and feed your child, you can go there. And the fact that you know your child is within the building you are, it gives you some kind of confidence to continue doing what you are doing, because you know your child, you know your child is safe. A lot of women get pregnant in secrecy, and everything they want to do, they have to do it in secret. As if the men don't have wives and children. As if they want their own children to suffer because their mother is working. A lot of things, we need to have a balance. This is not to encourage laxity. It is not to encourage laziness, because I'm a woman and you hide under that to do some silly things. But the point is, this is what God had created us to be. If we are not there having these children, the population will die. So we need to realize that. And I like the fact that you said women should have a roadmap. Know what you want to do. There were 2 films I watched years ago. Acrimony. I don't know if you watched it. How the lady used all her life to serve the man's ambition. That man had only one ambition. He had that machine that he wanted to sell. And it took him, I think, about 18 years to be able to break through. True. But she was paying rent. She was doing every other thing in the house. At the end of it, what happened? The marriage broke down because she was weighed down, and she became a killer.
True.
If she had pursued her own, if she had her own dreams, the man is pursuing his and she is pursuing hers, everybody will be happy. There will be a balance. Whoever succeeds first wouldn't matter. And another one is one that was done even in Nigeria recently, Anikulapo. The lady got the gun. She fought the bird. She held it. But when it was time for it to be used, what did you give it? Gave it to the husband. Go and use it. Yes, he used it, became popular and everything. And on the long run, he began to say, I've chased other women. That was who he was anyway before they got married. So one thing is, if you realize that you, as a human being, you have a purpose on earth, and there's nothing that stops you from being successful as a woman. There's nothing that stops you from being wealthy as a woman. Don't drop your powers for anybody.
True.
Encourage your husband to succeed. Encourage yourself to succeed. Have a goal of success. Because when things turn, it is those sacrifices that you made that makes women, you see some women will kill the husband.
They'll be bitter.
They will kill the children. We have cases of that. They will have murder, suicide and all that, kill themselves. It's out of bitterness.
True.
If you've been able to achieve something as a person, why am I killing you?
Absolutely. I mean, you've achieved something.
You've achieved something. I have something I can look forward to and say, oh, this is me. This is what I have achieved as a person. Another thing I want us to discuss really is, how do we begin to encourage? We need to, like I tell people, we need to change the narratives. Our parents did what they did because of what they knew. If we know better, we will do better. That's what I tell people. If they knew better, they would have done better. But we know better. How can we do better, especially for the younger generation just coming up?
So for me, let me bring it to me. You know, I'm an educator. I work with really young children. From the start, all those, this is for boys, this is for girls. There's nothing such as that.
I noticed that in your school.
There is nothing. It's meant for boys. There's not such as that. I
that.
encourage girls. If you want to do karate, you want to do taekwondo, go for it. In fact, in my own opinion, girls even need it more.
Yeah.
If you're a boy, you want to do ballet, do ballet. I mean, there's nothing such as that. So, pink is for boys, pink is for girls, blue is for boys. You can be anything you want to be. So it starts from the family circle. It starts from the school. It starts from encouraging them. Just as you said, a stupid prayer in quotes, you become governor's wife. You will be the governor yourself. What do you want to be? Is this what you want to do? Support them, speak to them, give them affirmations, daily affirmations every day. That you know what, you can be whatever it is you want to be. And I'm going to encourage you, I'm going to support you all the way. So from that, they understand that nothing is limiting me. I was at my first daughter's class assembly, you know, and so for their, what do they call it now? Where they talk about the profile. So they were asking, oh, she wants to be this in future and all. And people were saying really nice things. I want to be a pilot. I want to be a doctor. So when they read out my daughter's one, she said she's not sure of what she wants to be yet. Initially, the thing hit me like, year 5, you're not sure of what you want to be yet. So later on, I had a conversation with her. I said, oh yeah, mommy, because I'm not sure yet. I'm still thinking about it. And I respected that. So nobody's putting you under any undue pressure. I said, but remember last year you said you wanted to be a nurse. So what has happened? She said, I wanted to be a nurse, but I think now I've changed my mind. And I'm still not sure yet of what. So you're encouraging them. You must have a plan. I know at some point she's going to make that decision. We'll talk about it. We know her strength already. I encourage parents. I work with parents. I work with children. I work with adults and children. Whatever it is your child likes, encourage them. Do not put them in a box. Do not put them in a box. They would understand the roadmap. They would draw their own roadmap, and you will guide them afterwards. So with that, a woman will know that I'm a Christian, but there's this, the biblical part, help meet. So somehow, they've swallowed the whole pill that I must always be a helper. I must always help somebody. You are an individual.
A full one.
A full one by yourself, and you are enough. It's one of our affirmations. I am enough. You are enough. You don't need anybody to compliment you. If your decision is to remain the way you are till whenever, if you feel that's God's plan for you, go ahead. Just, I mean by maybe getting married or not, just fulfill your purpose and fulfill destiny. That's an important thing.
I love that. I'm enjoying the thing as was going on. But we need to go on a short break now. When we come back, we are still going to continue on this topic. You're welcome back. We are still discussing about a woman and her potentials and how nothing should stand in your way of progress and success. Mrs. Akande is still here with me. We were discussing how we discuss with children, right? Because they are impressionable. If you let them know they can do anything, they believe they can do anything. When they believe they can do anything, then there's no way anything or anybody can put them in a box. Because they know they can do anything. How do we now discuss with this about these aunties and uncles? You know, have you visited somebody in their house and the boy finished eating and is taking his plate to the kitchen, and they're asking the girl, what are you sitting there? Your brother is carrying his plate.
I've seen it. I've seen it severally. I've seen it. In fact, let me just take it back a little, because of the kind of it's not like that was the upbringing I had. Well, we're all girls, so we didn't even have any boys. So we did things that boys did. We went up in the ceiling to fix the cable of the TV that wasn't. My mother had a boss. I was the one in charge of washing the boss and all of those things. So something happened recently. Then I had to understand that there's a part of tradition and culture too. So we traveled home. I'm married. We traveled home for some cultural event. So my father-in-law, well, he's a king. So my husband, who is the only son, the first son, finished eating, and he was taking his plate himself to the kitchen. Because that's how he runs in our home, right? And everybody is fine with it. And it was a big one, especially on me. They were like, how? In Yoruba, you know, like shekolobin lady and things like that. So I realized that traditional part, in quotes, that I goofed a little. At least I should have just
at least.
you know, I know we were there, but I'm saying this right. But that is the setting in the house. So there's nothing such as this is boy's job or girl's job. Because at the end of the day, what is happening is you're only teaching your boy child to become very responsible.
And independent.
You know, independent when you're teaching them to do those things.
Yes.
But when you are saying, sister, big sister, go and do this for them, that is the same way they're going to treat their wives. So when you do all these things, there's nothing such as the girl child must do this, the boy child should do it. They should do both chores. Because when you inculcate all these things in your boy child, right, in the boy children, they would know that this is the right thing to do. And they're enough. And they're not married. I've heard little boys say it before. When I marry, my wife is going to be cooking me so food. And I'm like, at 8, at 9, you already have the impression that you are getting married so that your wife will come and cook for you. What happened to your hands? Why can't you do the cooking yourself? That is the kind of, it's not to be at the same level with the men, but that is what I'm trying to teach my daughters, that, you know what, you are not made for somebody. You are not made to make somebody feel so good or complete somebody. You are enough on your own. And your man should support you. You should support your man. It should be. So it starts from grooming them as they are young. Let them be responsible. Cook your meal. The girl child, fix your TV yourself. If something is wrong, do it as far as you can learn how to do it. Don't depend on one man to do it for you. You know, and say, I cannot go on the roof. Who says you cannot do something?
Is it not ladder that you can use it?
What makes it different? Because in some way, it makes the men feel like, oh, there's something you cannot do. But when you own it, you can do it. You should feel responsible for fixing it. You know, there will be no limitation on girls when we start grooming our young girls that way.
Right from now. I agree that we need to groom our girls and we need to groom our boys too. Because when we look at boys that are abusive, they didn't drop from the sky. We trained them so.
To be that way.
We made them to become the monsters. A boy will slap you and I say, ah, he's a boy, he's playing. Then he will grow up and won't know whether it was right or wrong because you never told him, no, you don't do that. I don't believe a boy should beat a girl or a girl should beat a boy. I believe nobody should raise their hands on themselves. When we are looking at what is going on in the world today, we've seen girls doing so wonderfully well. Yeah. And another thing we are doing for our girls that we are not doing for our boys, we teach them to do a lot of things. They can sew, they can make hair, they can cook, they can do all sorts of things. When they graduate from school, they are coming into the same labor market. Yeah, and there is no job. Then the girl will quickly begin to do makeup, begin to tie gele, begin to do this. And the boy keeps on looking for a job.
A job at an office.
So when he keeps looking for a job, if he's unfortunate or the girl is unfortunate now, marry such a man, he doesn't know how to cook and he's not working. So you will go to work from morning till night. All the place he has used since morning, you come and meet it in the night. You still do that. You still cook dinner. He will now, go out with the boys with your money. So it is not balanced. Women should train their boys to become responsible and independent. If it is not going this way, try this way or this way. Just as we are training our girls, so that we have a more balanced future. We have less abuse. Because a lot of things that spoil the abuse is insecurity. You are doing better than me. How should you be doing? How could you be doing better? You are even a woman.
And somebody is intimidated.
Yes. But if she had gone here and you have gone here, you come back with something, she comes back with something. Combined resources will make your home to grow. You should not see yourself as less human because you are a woman. You should not see yourself as superior because you're a man. That headship thing is there. I'm not taking it out. But headship is nice and better when you're a good head. They talk about crown, and I say there are crown with thorns. A thorny crown will not sit on your head well. You'll be bleeding. But a beautiful thorn will sit on your head well. It will adorn you. You'll be very proud. This is my husband. The husband will be very proud to have his wife. So a man should give a woman an enabling environment and be an enabler of her success. And a woman must have that roadmap of what she wants to become in the future, so that both of them can fulfill God's purpose for them on earth and give good example to their children. Wow. You won't believe we spent our time.
I picked a lot from you. An enabler, a husband being an enabler and creating an enabling environment. I mean, I picked those two.
Yeah.
And it's amazing.
What's your last word for us before we end today's program?
Well, I mean, I've enjoyed it. I've learned, right? I've unlearned. I've gained. I know I've shared insights too. And what I want to tell girls, young ladies, women, that I am enough. You should say it to yourself. I am enough.
I am enough.
Right? With God, I understand the God factor, very important. With God, I am enough. And I can do anything I set my mind to do. I can do it. So once we have that one, that I am enough, I am loved, I am enough. Self-love. You have to love yourself first. If you don't love yourself, you can't be looking for what you do not have elsewhere. And know that I am enough. So once we know that, I mean, the sky is a starting point. It's a starting point.
Thank you very much for being on the show today.
Thank you too.
This is how we end the show today on She World. I'm sure you have enjoyed today's episode. If you are not joined us on YouTube, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Divine TV, and download our app on Google Play Store. You'll be glad you did. Thank you very much. See you some other time. Bye.